Hello again, this is ODT Gaming coming to you with some more contrast paint tips and tricks. So this past week I worked on some giants for the new mercenary rules out of the General's Handbook for 2019. Additionally, I picked up Iyanden Contrast Yellow from a friend who is letting me borrow it, and I have my agitator ball in there to help mix it up. The contrast Black Templar, and then also the Flesh Terror Red. So with these two giants, one is an old one is a new one. And additionally, I did a little bit of conversion work, which I can show you too. But essentially what we have is my old one that I simply recoated with some Guilliman Flesh and Devlin Mud washes just to darken them up a tad, because I used the Guilliman Flesh wash on this giant. You can see that those pits, the darker areas up on the upper part of the stomach, right in here, and also up at by the armpit, that's where the contrast ink pigment from GW's Flesh Wash kind of settled in. I went back through, did some rehighlighting, streaks and stuff like that to try and blend it in more. You can see some brush strokes in there. Obviously you want to try and avoid those because you want to make it as smooth a transition as possible. The other thing I tried to do was I messed around with the scales on the giant's right arm. You can see right in here, this is that red Flesh Terror wash, kind of looks organic. I did go back and do some highlights here on the tip, and then the yellow, sorry my finger's getting in focus there, on the left. This one kind of turned out more orangish, but I think that's okay with this yellow wash. You can always go back and re-highlight the yellow. I did not on that one in particular. So with these giants, they're hopefully allowable with my next Chaos Army I'm working on. I kind of took these Bloodthirster axes. There's one here, one back here, and I magnetized them. So on there are some iridium magnets that you can kind of see on the base of the hand. Just super glued them, green stuffed them in to try and blend them in a little bit. It looks horrible though, and they pop right on. These are interchangeable. You can flip out this little whip here, which is the Bloodthirster whip, obviously, into the other giant's right hand if you want. The Chaos shields up on the right shoulder and left forearm, those are just from one of the box sets of Chaos guys. And the horns from the Bloodthirster, I kind of clipped those on the sides, super glued them, and pinned them in. They look pretty good. And the third giant, because in the battalion you have to take them in a unit of 3, I am working on a 6th edition giant, which this little guy right here, I popped his head off, didn't like the old head, and I put on one of the newer giant heads. So with that, I cleaned up the base of those horns, and I, again, pinned and glued those on. And then that brass collar is from a plastic Juggernaut kit that I had picked up. This hopefully will turn out pretty cool. I got to get the arms on, pin those, and then I've got another third big axe to throw on this guy. So that should look pretty cool. I hope this helps you guys out with some of your questions regarding the paint. The contrast paint's working out pretty well for me. Again, I used these colors over here, the red for the scales, yellow for the scales over here on this giant's arm. I did my Snakebite Leather on all the leather on these giants, recoating both giants' pants with it so that they matched. And these axes, as you can see, that has the black contrast paint on it in those recess areas. I went back over and redid the edges of the axe on both sides so that it would look a little bit sharper or what have you. The chainmail is the metal that I used. You could go back and do 3 shades of metal if you wanted, just to make it look a little bit sharper. If you have a question about this giant's axe here, this one, I green stuffed the handle, so that's why it looks kind of choppy there, but then blended it in with the browns and the black washes. And this axe is from the Endless Spell kit that I picked up just because I got bored and I just started picking stuff out and chopping it up. So, good night and good luck, guys. Have a good week.